Hello and welcome. We are going to discuss a very important topic that's very interesting also, the problem of international order. How the world is moving toward a very complex and intricate pattern of international order where there would be no single hegemonic power. And we will also talk about American hegemonic decline, which America enjoyed for the last 3 decades since the collapse of Soviet Union in 1989, and afterward till 2010, America was one of the most leading superpower, a single superpower. Afterward, the rise of small middle power, that international expert call them middle powers, who are rising rapidly in terms of economic and military development, have taken a significant role in international affairs. So firstly, what is important is that since the Cold War, there were two international players that were shaping the politics of the world. These were United States and Soviet Union, everybody know. And United States captured the whole world in terms of its manufacturing power, in terms of its military hegemony, in terms of its liberal style of autocratic and liberal style of ruling international affairs. But Soviet Union was sidelined by United States, and that basically was due to the reason that Soviet Union didn't have much industrial and manufacturing capacity that could match the power of United States. That's why Soviet Union couldn't create the stooges in international affairs that it could support, and it could create its own rule based order, or whatever order Russia or Soviet Union thought better about the international politics. United States has much of resources. It has much power with respect to Soviet Union. It has manufacturing capacity. It is huge area. Apart from that, it has found allies in Europe who were against Russia, who were defeated during the World War II, who were one of the most, you can say, the at the disadvantageous end of the World War II, and they were annihilated. They were destroyed by the destruction caused by World War II, and that led to uh, European states joining the camp of United States. Apart from that, multiple other states in the Middle East and in Asia and in East Asia have also joined the camp of United States because they needed military and economic development. The case of Pakistan is pertinent after 1947, when India declined to share resources with Pakistan that was legitimate, and it was legitimate share after colonial powers left. So Pakistan looked toward the world. It needed economic help, it needed military help, because India was threatening that Pakistan is a transient player. It would soon merge with India. That's why Pakistan looked for security. So that's why Pakistan chose United States, and it significantly also helped the rise of military power in Pakistan. Apart from that, it also led to significant economic development during the decade of 1960s. Apart from that, we also suffered by joining United States. We have joined the war against Soviet Union, led by United States in Afghanistan, which we are still suffering. We have lost almost 150 billion in our economy. We have lost 92,000 of our people. Hundreds and thousands have been injured, and most of the uh, areas have been annihilated due to supporting this war on terror, because that brought the culture of extremism, religious extremism, the culture of ethnic extremism, the culture of Kalashnikov, culture of guns, culture of drugs, culture of smuggling. All this was due to the result that Pakistan joined United States. Now, when we move after the 1990s, United States has been at the forefront to lead the world toward the values it thought best for the world. But these values weren't best for the world. These values were those values that United States considered them to be important for the world. For example, United States carried the book about international free trade, but full-fledged free trade is not benefit for the country. And when at that time United States was lecturing people about the World Trade Organization and urging people to open trade and forcing them to join World Trade Organization. Even China was pressurized to join World Trade Organization. So at that time, United States was lecturing people about the importance of free trade. Now is the time that United States is hampering the free trade. How? This must be looked now. United States since 2010 has seen significant decline with respect to China in terms of trade, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of technology, in terms of artificial intelligence, and it wants to now curb the development of China because it is running the deficit of trade with China up to 250 billion. That's why China is leading the international market. China has captured whole of the world economy due to its manufacturing capacity, due to its trade friendly policies, due to its cooperative attitude toward countries. United States has an habit of bullying the countries. It pressurizes countries by military force or by the forces of economic sanctions, and it wants them to do its line. But that time is over now. And now it is getting resorted to a new set of trade wars. It is resorting toward tariff wars. It is imposing tariffs around all over the world, and these tariffs are basically uh, are being used to cripple the economies of those countries who are exporting to United States, who are running the surplus with respect to United States. Even if they are not running the surplus, United States is also not concerned about them, and it is leveling huge tariffs on these states. For example, first of all, it's China. United States has imposed 145% tariffs on Chinese good imported to United States. And that is pretty much damaging not only for China but United States companies also, because most of the manufacturing parts comes from China. Most of the raw material comes from China, or most of the things assembled in China and then are imported to United States. For example, we can see the case of iPhone, Apple. The biggest manufacturing unit of Apple is in China. So by imposing tariffs, United States is creating an atmosphere where there would be no free trade, there would be economic bullying, there would be economic sanctions, there would be always a pressure by the United States on the countries to the line of United States, to follow the United States, to consider it an hegemonic power. And that's why it is imposing trade on every country it thinks it can challenge its future hegemony. See the case of India, it has imposed 58% tariffs on Indian goods. Apart from the fact that India is not going to challenge United States because India has no manufacturing capacity. India has one of the most poorest nation in the world. It has one of the most highest number of poor in country, that are almost 600 people, and they don't have access to washroom, they don't have access to housing, they don't have access to education, and that's why India can't become great power. That has been argued by Ashley J. Tallis in Foreign Affairs, that India is in great power delusion. It can't challenge any power. Even it can't challenge Pakistan. It can't be hegemon in South Asia. So By imposing 58% tariffs on India, Trump, who is leading the tariff war, has signaled that it would not spare its own allies. It has imposed up to 28% on tariffs on European Union. European Union also resorted to tariff war, and they have imposed 25% tariffs on the goods that are imported from United States. And these all condition will always lead toward a condition where countries would not trust each other. They would always try to hamper free trade. This would then lead toward the halt in technology transfer. It would also lead to toward the breakdown of international market. It would lead to breakdown of chain of food chain, long food chains, and it would obviously would result the uh, in the coming future depression, because if United States is going to disrupt every market, it's going to disrupt every country's economy. It's going to stop the development of technologies in other countries. Then of course there would be a crisis in future. Then market would break down, the stock markets would be crashing, and it would again lead toward a major economic bow down of the countries. So international order is moving toward a very complex state. It is moving toward a state where there would again be a system of alliances. There would be again a system of lack of trust that was in 1880s and early 1900. So, what happens in the alliance system is that people, the head of states in the countries thinks that their country is not reaping the benefits of internationalization that Germany felt in early 1900, or afterward, in the aftermath of First World War, or Soviet Union felt after World War II. So it would try to reclaim the state, a stage in the international affair. It would try to get the space in the international affair by bullying other countries. It it would attack other countries. It would form alliances against the country. It would think that it is the major challenge against my international rise. This would lead toward a state of alliances in the international affairs. When there would be alliances, then of course, then there would be a great mistrust, and this would lead toward a state where if one country is threatened by another, then whole of allied party would get involved in that conflict, and this leads toward major wars that happened in First World War and Second World War, that each of the allied countries were involved without any reference to the major conflict that was going on about the parties that were really involved in that conflict. For example, in First World War, Germany wasn't involved, Russia wasn't involved. The war was happening between Serbia and Austria. But Germany and Russia and France and Britain, all those became involved due to alliances. And this system can again happen if United States continue to bully countries. If United States is not stopping the tariff war it is carrying on, it would lead towards serious disruption in international stage. And one of the major effect would be on the developing countries such as Pakistan. If United States imposes huge tariffs on Pakistan, currently it has announced 28% tariffs that according to Pied report, it may cause the loss of $1.4 billion annually. And I think that's very significant loss. Pakistan has been gaining funds from IMF. We have not been able to secure 1 billion in 2022, and that's very huge amount. Currently, we are under the IMF tutelage of 7 billion tranche. And imagine if we lose $1.4 billion annually, how this would impact Pakistan. Even if they impose 10 to 15%, then we are going to lose $1 billion. So these small economies would be severely damaged, and this would result in the impoverishment of the common masses. So look at the mentality of the Donald Trump who is leading the tariff war, that he is going to lead a war against common people. Common people would be affected in this war. The tariff are not going to affect the major rich people. They have already everything. When tariff would be imposed, drugs would be, of course, expensive. Daily life things would get expensive. The prices of all oil would get hiked up, and all these things combined are part of daily life of common people. So that's very important that the tariff war is going to disrupt international economy altogether, and this can lead toward an economic breakdown. Now, if we move toward international hegemonic order of United States that is crumbling with its own strategic mistakes. First of all, United States has ported one of the most brutal regimes in history, that is carrying illegal occupation, illegal aggression, illegal occupation, and carrying out genocide of one of the most poorest people in the world. It is killing babies, it is killing common young men, it is killing women, it is killing pregnant women, it is killing old men, it is killing everybody. That state is Israel, and United States has always supported the genocide of Israel. I don't know what's going on, what is being discussed in United States with Netanyahu. He is in the United States for, I think, a ceasefire deal, but I wonder what kind of deal would it be. For the last 2 years, he didn't stop the genocide of Israel. So I wonder what would be now a new kind of deal. Would they annihilate completely Gaza? It may happen that United States take over Gaza, expel Palestinians, expel the poor masses, those who are already dying, and it may lead toward Israeli occupation of Gaza by expelling the people of Palestine. It is already expelling people from West Bank. So I don't think that Israel is gonna make a deal that lead toward its vacation of Gaza or any West Bank settlement. And United States is a major culprit. It never stopped the genocide carried out by Israeli Zionists. It never stopped Israel from building settlements in West Bank. It has never stopped giving weapons to Israel. It has never stopped supporting Israel in UN Security Council. It has never stopped giving diplomatic support to United States to Israel. So I wonder how he's gonna push Netanyahu toward a ceasefire deal. And another thing is that Trump is also using, his whimsical mercurial behavior to run the international affairs. He wants attention. He always says something nonsense. And recently he has imposed 53% tariffs on Brazil. Why? Because his friend Jair Bolsonaro, who has opposed the results of the elections of 2023, which he lost, and because Trump liked Bolsonaro, so that's why Trump imposed 10% additional tariffs on Brazil. So this kind of whimsical attitude in foreign policy may be dangerous, and it is dangerous. It's gonna disturb the country's economies, and Brazil is very responsible state. It has always supported the right of Palestinian. It has always supported the rise of middle powers. It has recognized that world is going to be multipolar. The world needs to be multipolar because there can't be a single hegemon dictating the affairs of the world on its whims, on its own terms. There is no space for other power to challenge its decisions. And Brazil has a very important role to play in international affairs. And I think China is also playing a significant role. Brazil and China are an important part of international order, and I think this international order, the current international order, where United States thinks that it's gonna be uh, hegemon forever, needs to be now overturned. There are multiple stakeholders in the world that needs to be taken on board. First is China. China has almost 20 trillion economy that surpasses in terms of purchasing power parity to United States, and it has one of the largest militaries in the world. It has developed largest AI technology, the most efficient, the most advanced cutting edge AI technology. It is developing one of the most interesting and one of the most efficient AI chatbots. Deepfake is free, while Western chatbots are often paid. So China has a power, China has a capacity to be leader of the world. And China has responsibly acted since its creation. It has never acted in terms of military aggression against any country. Taiwan is part of China. China has never taken a military action against Taiwan because China wants a peaceful unification with Taiwan. So, apart from that, China has never a history of invading any nation, carrying out genocide. It is written by Paul Kennedy that China has never invaded any country, carried out genocide like Europeans, Americans, British, French, Dutch, Portuguese, Spanish. All these countries have a history of carrying out genocides of other people, other countries, other nations. But China doesn't have such history. China always keeps uh, itself busy with its own affair. It doesn't involve in anyone else's affair. And apart from that, it has a principle based on cooperation, based on mutual respect, based on mutual support, based on the respect of not interfering each other affairs. And that's why China has a potential to be global power. China can play a role of peace breaker in international affairs, and China has a capacity. Recently, China has also opened an international mediation court for like International Court of Justice to carry out the issues that are happening in the world and to arbitrate between the nations. China always supported Pakistan, asked India to carry out dialogue in terms of Kashmir, and China has never threatened any country with military power like United States. China has never carried attacks on any country with its forces. Now, if we compare United States has carried out 92 wars since 2001. Since 2001, a study shows that United States has been involved in 91 conflicts. That's very huge amount of conflict, and most of time these conflicts are supported by United States to hike up the imports and export of its manufacturing arms manufacturer companies. That's why United States wants a world of conflict. United States doesn't want a world where there is a peace, where there is justice, there is equality. That's why it keeps supporting Israel. And you know, you have heard that Donald Trump previously called that is it's going to be peace between Russia and Ukraine and we are not going to fund Ukraine. Now Trump has clearly said that we're gonna send weapons to Ukraine. Why? Because it's going to benefit the state of United States. It's going to be benefit for the manufacturers who are building arms, ammunition. So that is the policy of United States to always spur the conflict. Now it would send the weapons to Ukraine. Ukraine would then again think that no, United States is on my back and I am fighting, but in return they would be extracting their minerals. They would be extracting a lot of money from Ukraine. Similarly, it would, keep saying publicly, I am pushing Israel for ceasefire, but it is sending weapons to them. It has sent $14 billion since 2023, and this is very huge amount. Apart from that, it has involved in conflict with Iran that was of no concern to United States. Iran is building bomb. That is not problem of United States. United States have a bomb. Soviet Union has a bomb. France has a bomb. Britain has a bomb. Israel has a bomb. India has a bomb. Why can't Iran have a bomb? That's very simple question to the United States that why can't Iran have a bomb when its neighbor, a faraway neighbor Israel has a bomb? The real threat to the stability of Middle East isn't Iran, it's Israel. Israel is major threat to the peace of the world. It has carried out a military aggression with 200 planes against the people of Iran. It has killed civilian. Almost 1200 to 1400 civilian have been killed. Iranian attacks were always precise. They have targeted, apart from few civilian buildings, they have targeted military sites. And even if they targeted the air base of United States in Qatar, they have informed United States that we're gonna target. Please get your civilian out of there as a symbolic gesture that we can attack, but we are not going to involve you in the war. That's not your business. And Iran has a full right to build nuclear weapon. There is no question about it. If 10 or 11 countries have for their security reason, Pakistan has a nuclear bomb because we are going to balance India. If India has a nuclear bomb, we will have. If India is going to make hydrogen bomb, we will have to make a hydrogen bomb. That's why we are keeping balanced check on India. Up. And in similar vein, Iran is going to check the rise of Israel in the Middle East. Without Iran getting against the Israelis, Israel would one day threaten the holy sites of Makkah and Medina. And this will be going to happen. Once Iran is out of the way, Israel would find an excuse to threaten the kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Whatever there would be excuse, they will find excuse. They would claim that Saudi Arabia's threat to Israel, and that's why Israel is attacking the places of Saudi Arabia. If Iran is not in front of Israel, if Iran doesn't confront Israel, then Israel will one day find excuse to eliminate these Gulf states of UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, and Saudi Arabia against its hegemonic design in the Middle East, their mythical mentality of creating a greater Israel from Tigris to Euphrates. And these kind of mentality is not of only Israeli leadership. A recent survey has shown that 82% of Israeli think that Palestinians should leave Israel. Palestinians should leave their homeland or they must be annihilated. There is a documentary airing on Guardian news channel that is of the foremost credibility in the Britain. It has done a documentary that is showing the people's view about Palestinian. Every Israeli think that Palestinian should die. They think that the place where there is the Dome of Rock, Masjid al-Aqsa, where there is dome of rock, we will build a Solomon temple there. That's why this mosque need to be annihilated. This is the thinking of every Israelite. So you can't trust Israelis that once Iran is out of the way, they would not attack Saudi Arabia. They will attack Saudi Arabia. And apart from that, Pakistan is also target. Pakistan can be target of India and Israel together. They can attack Pakistan with the support of India, and this is real probability. This may happen in the future if Iran is out of the way. So this crumbling order that has caused many damage to international system, that has led to death of millions of people, that has created havoc in the countries. This international system is going toward its end. Its hegemon is going toward its decline. American century is over. The coming century is of people's century. The coming world would be of people's world, where every state would have an equal footing with respect to larger states. And it is the belief of China that we don't believe that this state is small or this state is large. The same is thinking of Russia. It is the thinking of United States that we are greater state, everybody should bow down before us. So this order is not going to work in future. And the rise of BRICS, the rise of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, rise of Economic Cooperation Organization, these are real sign that the world is going to change. The world is going toward a new multilateral order, and this multilateral order would be free from American hegemony. America would have to accept that reality that it is not the great power now. It will remain a great power for the future, but it can't dictate everyone's policy. It can't dictate the policies in East Asia. It can't dictate the countries of Africa. It can't dictate the countries of Middle East. It can't dictate the countries of Central Asia. It has to accept that reality that the American age is over. It has to give space to China, Brazil, to South Asian, Pakistan and India, to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia and Iran are real stakeholder. They have a great role to play in the future, and United States now must have to adjust to this reality. This the international system that it has propagated for years, for decades, is now in shutters. This is not going to work. The false flag and fool kind of ideas about liberal international order are not going to be bought by the people. If this is liberal order, if this is liberal order, if this order gives rights to the people, there wouldn't have been conflict in the world. Currently, 4 billion people of the world are living in the conflict. That's almost more than half of the population of the world. More than half of population of the world is living in the conflict due to the intransigence of United States, because it vetoes some resolution that wants to end the conflict. It has vetoed up to multiple resolutions that called for ceasefire in the Middle East. I wonder how Trump can be a peacemaker. Recently, they have vetoed ceasefire resolution. So that's very interesting to see that international order is changing rapidly, and China, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Pakistan, India, these states are going to be very important in the future, and American century is over now. America must accept this reality that it is their end. They have to adjust to it. Trump's tariff war are not going to create American hegemony. It would, of course, create an economic uncertainty. They would lead toward the breakdown of international economy. They would lead toward breakdown of international blockchain, but that would not lead toward American power. The more tariffs United States would impose on the countries, the more it would lose in terms of imports, export, in terms of technology transfer. It would lose in terms of mineral transfers, and it would lose multiple sectorial jobs. People would lose their jobs if they're going to impose tariffs. People would see high cost of living, high cost of housing, high cost of fuel. This would impact ordinary Americans and all the ordinary people of the world. So Trump tariff war is basically, I think it's war against humanity. It's war against common people. It is not war against people, Republic of China. It's war against people of China. It's war against people of India. It's war against people of Pakistan. It's war against Middle Eastern countries. And that is going to hurt anyone. So tariffs are going to create havoc for ordinary people's life. And this must be seen that United States must look inside. It must have to adjust to reality that by imposing tariffs, it can't change the reality that it is in decline. And I think Trump would be the foremost frontline president who would cause the destruction of America. It's my prediction. Trump would cause destruction of America because when fires extinguishes, it burns. It tried to burns last time. America is waning. American influence is waning. America is in decline, and it is trying to burn last time. And that's for few years in the future. I hope international orders remain stable. It transform from one farm to another peacefully, so that there may not be an international crisis, so people may not suffer. So this was all about the complex and intricate things that are happening in international affairs. I hope things would go down in the history smoothly, and we hope things could grow better in the future. Take care, Allah Hafiz.